Last year, Sigma announced the launch of their I-series lenses, which consist of 6 premium compact prime lenses that are designed exclusively for mirrorless cameras. They are extremely compact, all metal built, and the coolest thing is that they have manual aperture control and even a magnetic lens cap. Sigma calls their I-series a premium compact primes that are stylish in appearance with impressive specifications and optical performance. And actually right here I have one of their I-series lenses, the Sigma 35mm f2 DG-DN. It is a small, weather sealed, and on the full frame considered as a medium wide prime lens that comes both for L mount and the Sony E-mount mirrorless cameras. Since I don't have a full frame camera yet, or anymore, I put it on a Sony a6000 crop sensor camera and went around Copenhagen to take a lot of lovely and moody fall pictures that I'm really excited to show you in this video. And 35mm on the crop sensor is roughly 50mm, and that is one of my absolute favorite focal lengths after the 85mm. So sit back, grab a cup of coffee, and let's see how this lens performed. And before really getting into this video, my friends from Epidemic Sound are offering an amazing Black Friday deal exclusively for you. They are offering a 90-day trial. That's 3 months of access to more than 35,000 songs and 90,000 sound effects. I've been using Epidemic Sound for almost a year and really love it. Basically, you sign up now and can use the service until like March. And best thing, no strings attached. Download and use as many songs as you want on YouTube or any other platform, and if you're not happy, just cancel without paying a cent or taking down your videos. This is very limited deal and will last only until December 2, so if you want to try it out, be quick about it, use the special code TOMS90 and off you go. Link, of course, is in the description. Alright, so few key things you should know about this lens. Aperture range is from f2 to f22. You can focus as close as 27 centimeters. There is no built-in stabilization in this lens. Hood is included and is all metal as well. The lens weighs only 324 grams, consider that it's fully metallic, and it is weather sealed. Okay, but what's the thought process of releasing such a lens? Well, there are actually a lot of 35mm prime lenses, and most of them are f1.8, 1.4 or even f1.2. And there are even 2 35mm primes from Sigma itself. One is the f1.4 version and the other one is f1.2 version, which a lot of people love, but it is just humongous. So this new f2 version is basically designed as a more compact and more reasonably priced alternative to other prime lenses. But it definitely does not mean that Sigma has cut corners on build or optical quality. Despite its compact size, it does not feel like a toy lens, to be honest. Since it's fully metal, and this lens actually has a lot of features like this previously mentioned aperture ring. It has a really nice and smooth focus ring, and also the AF and MF switch, which usually is kind of comes with more highly priced lenses. And the use of materials make me believe that you can be, quite rough with this lens and it won't break with the first bump. And remember, Sigma always gives the 5-year warranty with all of their lenses, so I think that kind of brings up confidence into their lenses as well. Quality-wise, a plus point for Sigma is also the fact that all lenses are made in Japan, where they really care about the build and optical performance. And I can't stop talking about the size of it, but even on a small crop sensor camera like Sony a6000, I mean, it's the other way around. I mean, just look at it, how small this is. It just feels so right. And by the way, if you have the Sony a7C, then I think the I-series lenses on a small full frame body is a killer combo. And speaking of price, its suggested retail price is $639, which is a bit cheaper than actually the Sony's 35mm f1.8. So I had this lens for about 3 weeks and I tested it in various scenes, but mostly I did lots of city walks around Copenhagen just when the leaves were turning yellow. That's the sweet spot when to go out. Since I always shoot in aperture priority mode, I really used the aperture ring a lot, and it allowed me to quickly shoot the same scene in several apertures. Obviously, Sony a6400 is not a 61 megapixel beast, so you can't expect insane quality, which with such combo, but even when shooting at f2, I felt pretty confident about this lens's performance. The further the objects were and the more I stopped down, the more the sharper the pictures actually looked across the whole area, even in the corners. And I especially enjoyed taking shots of buildings, trees, and the city in general. There were a couple of close-up shots that I was not happy about, but I cannot scientifically prove it was the lens's fault or it was my fault, because it was super cloudy and a bit dark, so my shutter speed was not the fastest, and it was also really windy, so it's very likely that the objects were moving a lot. And by all means, this is not the sharpest lens I have ever seen, because the sharpest lens I've ever seen is the one I'm filming right now, and is actually, I own it as well, of course, is a Sigma 16mm f1.4 for crop cameras, and I feel like it's hard to beat that lens. But as you can see in several of these examples, there is plenty of sharpness and high quality even from a 24 megapixel sensor. I absolutely love the bokeh on this lens. It is really pleasing and soft. In this shot, I love how the light bulbs and the whole market is blurred so nicely in the background, giving the image a satisfying mood. It was also really fun to frame my shots by adding objects in the foreground. They got blurred nicely, giving a natural frame to the image so that the viewer can focus on the subject easier. All in all, this lens is quite universal, as it can be used perfectly to capture objects in close distance and blur out the background, as well as have everything in focus and capture the image in its fullest sharpness. Reading some reviews online, I found that people complain about the fringing and chromatic aberration, but I took over 1000 photos and I couldn't really find any of that. Maybe I should have tried harder, but with that being said, I don't really think there are too noticeable problems with the optical performance. And Sigma also takes advantage of technology, obviously, and they use in-camera aberration correction, as I read on their website, which helps to eliminate things like vignetting, distortion, etc. And to be honest, at 35mm focal length, I would not expect those to be present anyways. I did a couple of autofocus tests with this lens, and without any scientific proof, but just sharing my personal opinion, I can say that the autofocus was fast, snappy, and super quiet. It had no problems quickly switching from an object that is close to the minimum focus distance and then to the object that is really far away. And I also moved the lens closer to object and further away, and results were good. I don't imagine someone doing a motocross or Formula 1 racing photo shoots with the 35mm prime, so it is safe to say that for what this lens is intended to be used, the autofocus is good. I didn't test it myself, but rumors are that there is some focus breathing with this lens in case you wish to use this to shoot videos. I did not test its video capabilities, as I think this is purely a photography lens and there are a lot of other better options to choose from if you intend to have a dedicated lens for video shooting. To wrap it up, I think this is a pretty cool lens aimed for those who care about the quality and want to take advantage of a compact size. If you're not someone who must have an f1.2 prime, then I think the Sigma 35mm f2 lens could be a really good option. And that's it for me today. Thank you so much for staying this far in the video. As always, Tom Surex here with you, my friends, and don't forget to keep on creating.